Now that you've seen my art, let me introduce myself. My name is Loretta Bradfield. I'm the world's first professional melted crayon artist. When I was a child, my mom, on the first day of school, would bring me a brand new box of crayons, which was the best day ever. I'd get it, I'd see all the beautiful colors, and I'd oogle and ogle over it. I'd be so excited. And then I'd go and get my crayon out, and I'd use it, and it'd just be, eh. Why didn't it look as beautiful as it did melted on my mom's car seats? So people come up to me, Loretta Bradfield, the melted crayon artist. You must have used crayons your whole life, went through thousands. And I look at them and I say, no, I really didn't. I like them better in the box. I didn't want to take them out. I didn't want to take them out of the box. As an adult, though, my garage probably has over 3,000 crayons out of the box. But today, I'm going to teach you something. It's called being epic, evolving positively by inventing and creating. But I kind of have to start at the beginning, so we'll get back to that. 6 years ago, I was inflicted with a gruesome skin disease. I would show you pictures, but due to the nature of how bad it was, I didn't allow any. It was bad. The whole side of my face was missing at times. I like to call it, for visualization's sake, we're going to call it Phantom of the Opera bad. Now, I had just started my career, 19 years old. I got a job at Subway. And this man walks in, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Can I please have somebody who's not a leper make my sandwich?" Okay, thanks. I made it to out the door, and I fell apart. I crashed. I bawled. I cried. I was tore up. I went home, and it was the beginning of being in a really dark place. But I still needed a job, need to eat, can't be a poor artist. So I went on job interview after job interview. And something told me that sometimes my face was the reason I wasn't getting a job. But at one point, I was so excited. It was a photographer assistant job. He looked at me, and we interviewed, and I had tons of energy. I was really excited about this job. Killed it. Then at the end of it, he comes up to me and says, "Don't worry about your face. I will just tell people you were in a horrible car accident and lucky to walk away with your life." I was really upset. I gave up. I hated my mirror image. I loathed leaving the house. I lost who I was and cracked. There's a reason Vincent van Gogh created his greatest paintings in an insane asylum. He, like I, had become unhinged. For me, I hated my zombie face. I gave up. I hated it. I'm telling you this because I wanted to tell you, to be positive, sometimes you have to go to the extreme negatives. You have to endure those negatives, become more mature. But the thing about it, once you fall apart, you get to put yourself back together stronger and better. It got so bad, my husband came through the whole house, took down every mirror to protect me. Very nice of him, actually. And when we did that, I was in a really dark place. But my children were the ones who were paying the price. I mean, there are days where I didn't want to get out of bed, and they were the ones. Depressed mommy I did not want to be. So what I did, one morning, I woke up. My daughter needs me. And I started painting positives on mirrors. Saw that coming, actually. That worked out really well. Perfect timing. At least if it's going to fall, let's do it at the right time. Good timing. So I started painting positives on mirrors. I would draw what I wanted to be. To see me through this mirror, I had to look past my faith, my hope, my beautifulness. That's not a word. So, meanwhile, I saw this thing on Pinterest. They were called Meltdowns. You take the crayons and you glue them to the top of the canvas, and you take a blow dryer, and you melt them down into a waterfall of drippy mess. I thought, I can do better than that. So I call my mom up, and she comes over, and she watches my first attempt. She's sitting there watching. This is going to be a hot mess. She's always been supportive, but at that moment, I think she was remembering the car seats. But the amazing thing about it is when I finished, it had potential. I was hooked. I nerded out about crayons. I Googled it. I learned that each crayon melts at a different temperature, from 127 degrees, the white, to the darker crayons of 147 degrees. Now, every other crayon in between would melt at a different temperature as well. The other thing that was interesting, crayons are made up of paraffin wax, which is the same thing that you use to protect your surfboards. And my favorite fact was this little trivia fact. The little leftover stubby crayons are called leftolas. I just love that. The thing about it is after I did all that and I did my research, I took it to the next level. I bought a heat gun and blow dryers, and they became my brushes. It took it out of the sky. They started looking amazing. But let me tell you, I did have my fair share of disasters. My nemesis. It melts super quick. It makes a muddy mess. It is the anti-rainbow. Dun, 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 the gray crayon. I refuse to ever use that crayon again. Now, as an artist, you're usually really the best critic about your art. We're not impressed with it. Usually within a week, we're like, that's so last week. But I have gotten to the point where I loved my art. I loved the bright and happy feelings that it portrayed. It was everything I needed at that time. So, that being said, I wanted to truly share it with the whole world. I booked my first show after 5 years of playing with crayons in my garage. Nervous wreck, let me tell you. I went to Maker's Faire in Detroit. My favorite thing about it was the response I got. The adults would come up to me, I'd tell them it's crayons, and they'd look at me and go, seriously? No way. And the teenagers would come up to me and be like, what? And the little kids that come up to me, their jaw would hit the ground, and they'd be like, oh my God, I want to do that. How did you do that? And of course I told them, oh, those poor parents clean up that mess. Let me tell you. So I had become positive. I had become what my art was. I put on the bright clothes. I felt happy. I am me. This is me. And I was loving myself again. Now, the interesting thing is I'd also become an out-of-the-box thinker, which comes to my next point. This beautiful, giant painting behind me is actually called Out of the Box. It shows my journey as an artist. In the middle, you draw what you see very simply. And then some people, the few, the special, the chosen, unhinge and bust through that fourth wall. And that starts being, you draw what you don't see, or what could be there, or what can be there. But the thing is, not just artists can do this. I invented a baby bottle that completely evacuates the air. I invented 3 easels, each of one better than the last. And not only that, my career evolved. First I said, I want to be an illustrator. Then I said, I'm going to be an artist. And then I said, screw it, I'm going to be an artist with crayons, whether the art community likes it or not. See that attitude. The thing about it was, you can find inspiration. I skipped a page. When people ask you to describe yourself, why don't we add the words evolving or inventive? Those are 2 words that are very important. The art community could learn those words, but we don't. We don't say, if you ask my daughter what to describe herself, she's not going to say evolving or inventive. Now, granted, she's 3, those are big words, but I'm imagining a 12-year-old girl here. Now, both answers are very critical to the success of your career. Another thing people ask me, what is your goals in life? And I look at them, be like, well, this week, I'm working on a TV show Come on, Disney, I know you're watching this. Call me. Next week, I'm the crayon artist. The week after that, I'm the illustrator. Thing is, my career, my goals, they change, but they evolve in the direction of my talents. They're growing with me. If we stay stagnant with your talents, you're not going to go anywhere. You can evolve at your job. Create something, invent something, design something, create a new idea. Be the inventor of your life. Everyone has been in a hole in their life, like mine, but you need to invent your way out. It's a new line, invent your way out of it. I would also like to talk about the creative process. In my demo, I showed you a piano. It's inspired by the movement of a song that I adored, the movement of the music. The piano is moving with the music. But some other times, other things can inspire you, like an article. There was once an article about the wild and free Mustangs of Colorado. There was this beautiful horse. His name was Picasso. And I thought, oh, he looks like a living Picasso. I painted Picasso inspired in Picasso. A couple weeks later, I found out he had a son. His name was Van Gogh. I was so excited. I get to do Van Gogh and Van Gogh. This horse is real. His name is Van Gogh, and I drew him in his namesake. I had to do it. I did his dad. It's only fair. The thing about it, it doesn't all have to come from something obvious, like music or an article. Sometimes it comes from a taste. One day, my husband called me. He goes, "What you doing?" I said, "Painting that 20 paintings for that show I need next week." And he goes, "Well, okay, how you feeling?" And I said, "Well, I tasted the rainbow, and it does not taste like Skittles." Now, after that happened, I turned around and was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I did. I don't even know which one it is. This one. Spewing spectrum. Puking rainbows on a pile of crayons sums up exactly how I felt. Because sometimes in your life, we'll wait to take that, you have to be creative. You have to be epic, evolving positively by inventing and creating. I'll live by that. Now, my life, my career has been creative, and it has been a colorful journey that's allowed to be me to be unique in myself, and just happen to let me have an absolutely epic experience. So I pray that you guys all go out and be evolving positively by inventing and creating.